What is up, my people, and welcome to my very first edition of my annual Lists Week. This is a very special week where I do at the end of the year where I mention some of my top albums, some of the top worst, some of the top best. For today's video, I will be starting off with the top 10 worst albums of 2021. This list goes as what, in my opinion, is what the worst albums that I have played all year. And let it be known, it's just my opinion, so if you adore these albums, I'm just saying, I don't judge you for it. It's just my opinion, so don't yell at me. I'm looking at you, Terry. But enough of that. Let's get right into it. For my number 10 album, I have placed Justin Bieber's newest LP, Justice. Even though I thought this record was an improvement from his last record, Changes, I still find some of the pop and R&B cuts on here just to be atrocious. Personally, I don't even see the appeal to some of these popular songs such as Peaches. I personally have a rough time finding the moments worth giving my time into this record. Nor do I understand the major drop off of song credibility as much as it was present as what I see as Justin's best work from his album Purpose. Speaking of major drop offs, for my ninth pick, I placed 21 Pilots' newest record, Scaled and Icy. How a group this highly acclaimed makes something so drastically terrible, not only compared to all their work, but to the record before this, Trench, which in my opinion is debatably 21 Pilots' best record yet and their most mature work from the duo. I can't fathom the disappointment I felt after playing this record from 21 Pilots. Songwriting is total garbage, is very poor instrumentals, hardly any bold moments on here, it's just a total bust. Next for the number 8 spot, we have Ed Sheeran's Equals, which is an album that I already fully broke down in the channel. When it comes to the themes of Ed sharing his love for his family, I'm not really so bothered by that, but the ideas and the song fundamentals on this record are just not good. I mean, the singing is mediocre, the moments that try to be cute come off as just to be tediously annoying. I don't mind the color palette choices, but when using them in the final finish, it's just a mess. This is one of the most generic, boring, unsatisfactory pop records of the year by far. At number 7, in comes the comeback record from Bobby Tarantino himself, Logic, with the album Bobby Tarantino 3. This is the third sequel to his most beloved series in his discog, the Bobby Tarantino series. But with this record being the out of retirement project from Logic, I can't help but really notice the exposure of lack of song creativity and just lack of ideas when it comes to flipping up his styles on here. Not only to me is this one of the worst records of 2021, but it also goes for like this disguised intro of a prank, and I think it just totally shits the bed. Like, I wish I could even say that this shit was funny going right into Vaccine, but it just instantly makes me want to hit the fucking skip button. Like, it's so stupid. Not only does he ruin his stardom momentum, but going into Vaccine, he ends up just digging himself into a deeper hole with no hope of getting out. Coming from a Logic fan, I say with the most sincerity that something different needs to happen in order for this rapper to keep his career alive if he wishes to. For the number 6 pick, I choose Limp Bizkit Still Sucks, and yeah, it speaks for itself. It felt like going into this listen that this was just like an attempt at making like a big meme album. Which, I mean, it kinda is, and it kinda isn't. The songs are so generic and so undercooked, it might as well just be a Nickelback and Korn collab, because that's exactly how I feel from playing this record. It is so cringy hearing Fred Durst go acoustic and just singing on here. It's like, oh my god, stop. I would mention that prank call interview at the end of the record, it did make me laugh. For number 5, we then have this new Young Thug record, Punk. To be fair, I wouldn't say that this is Thug's worst work. It's certainly just another piece just to really keep his fan base satisfied with new music, but my personal taste doesn't find any of the solo work on here enjoyable, nor do I even enjoy any of the tracks with features on them. Then the fact that Thug even explains that for the outro track with Mac Miller that this song was recorded the day before he died, I personally don't buy it. I can believe that they recorded a track together, but for this beat selection, it just has bullshit written all over it. To waste such a good verse from Mac Miller is preposterous. Not to mention that most of the features on here probably give some of their worst performances yet. Alright, then we got number 4 with the Migos Culture 3. It's hysterical enough to hear fans hype up these rappers like they're so highly looked upon and that their rap skills are unlike any other in the game. This record is horrendous all across the board with beat selection, productivity, writing, and it's honestly hilarious how forgettable this album is. It feels like to me that the day of this release of this project, it got like Thanos right after that and blimped and it just disappeared off the face of the earth. We can keep it like that. We're getting the top 3 now. For my number 3 spot of worst albums of 2021, we have Willow's Lately I Feel Everything. But I feel nothing. This has to be one of the most poor attempts of going pop punk and joining the new pop punk wave I have ever heard, not only this year, but in this current generation. Why is it that every artist thinks that when they collab with Travis Barker, that they automatically have the key? They have the freaking keys to the whip and they're gonna go trailing off this Cali bridge into the pop punk industry and murder shit. And yes, commercially, it is successful. A lot of these records that I'm mentioning commercially are successful. But for the amount of pop punk vocalists, writers, producers, this is utter garbage. How are y'all getting into that transparent song? I literally fucking nailed it. I nailed the fucking melody. I nailed it. It sounds the same. It sounds the same. And I don't mean to be a Willow hater, but God, I don't think this is her field. Not even just with the genre. Me personally, I just never ever cared for Willow's music. No matter what direction she went with pop, R&B, rock. It just doesn't work for me. And this record certainly does not. For number 2, we have Mr. Hobo Johnson with The Revenge of Hobo Johnson. Now, I must say I never really cared for Hobo Johnson's work at all. I would say from his 2019 album, The Follow Hobo Johnson, he certainly presents that he can actually create something musically that works and instrumentally also works, but lyrically, poetically, stylistically, I am not into it. It is terrible. Some of these notions that Hobo Johnson goes on to speak in this record, it would be like, I want to see the world. I want my girl back. I'm sad. But I wouldn't even compliment this record the way I just complimented the Follow Hobo Johnson, when I feel like instrumentally it still carries some weight all the way through the listen. Very boring record, very tacky, not quirky at all, not sympathetic, don't care for it, respectfully. And here we are for the number 1 spot for the worst album of 2021. No one deserved this spot more than this record. Ladies and gentlemen, for the number 1 spot, Tones and I, Welcome to the Madhouse. Dear fucking fuck. What the fuck is this shit? Listen, from that Dance Monkey pop track that really popped off, why do y'all like that? Her singing is garbage. It's so garbage. It's so annoying. Every time I hear this shit in public, I'm just like, you motherfuckers got cabbage in your muff. Nothing compares to such a horrendous, poor, crafted pop record like Tones and I. Nothing does. Nothing at all. Instrumentally, it sounds like a baby literally just beating up a guitar. Oh, and the production. Oh, the production is overly saturated, mixed terribly. Like, what were you going for? What were you going for on this one? You're trying to make this as bubblegum pop as possible, but dude, your singing is terrible. From front to back, every track, I wanted to literally pull out my hair and pull out all of my teeth just to feel something. If anyone that viewed this really dug this record, I would be fucking blown. But yes, there it is, guys. There is my first list week video of my top 10 worst albums. Oh, this shit sucks. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, go ahead and hit the like and share button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're already not, and hit the bell as well to always keep notified on my newest content. Down in the description, you'll see the links to all the albums I mentioned in this video, and more importantly, all the links to my social media accounts so you can keep up with me on the daily. Be ready for the next video, guys. It's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna catch you till then. Deuces.